Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, graduands, their families and their friends to this afternoon's ceremony at which we'll be presenting candidates from the faculties of Humanities and Social Sciences and Law. It's my great pleasure now to introduce to you Bond University's Chancellor, Dr. Helen Nugent, AO.
Ladies and gentlemen, graduands, it gives me enormous pleasure to welcome you to this afternoon's graduation ceremony. I acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet, and I pay my respect to their elders, both past and present. I am particularly pleased to welcome back to the university Professor Don Watts, AM, and his wife, Michelle. Professor Watts was the Foundation Vice-Chancellor of Bond University. You all know Don's Tavern. This is the original Don. That was almost 25 years ago, and I imagine he looks back on those days with amazement at how far the university has come. I'm equally confident that you will look back in 25 years' time with amazement at how far you have come. As Bond's dream was just beginning 25 years ago, so your dream is coming true today. Humanities and Social Sciences student Kelsey Seeger's dream of entering the highly competitive world of advertising took a step forward when she was accepted into the highly prestigious award school to further her study in the coveted broad fields of advertising and communication. Film and television graduate Tommy Wirkola released the Hollywood epic Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters in February. His dream started with an idea he had during his studies at Bond. Faculty of Law and International Relations student Gordon McBain, better known as Connor, won the prize for Best Individual Essay and Best Delegate on his committee at the Model NATO Youth Summit in Belgium this year. Connor's dream to go to the bar in London and practice in public law is coming true through his experiences at Bond. It is Bond's mission to provide each student with the opportunities to pursue their dreams, your dreams, which the examples I have just mentioned clearly illustrate. Dreams do come true. These are just a few examples from your peers, but I'm sure that there's 169 more Bondies sitting here today who are dreaming big dreams. There is a broad vista of opportunity before you. I urge you, pursue your dreams. We are proud to have been a part of your past, and we're even more proud to be an ongoing part of your future. On behalf of the Council of Bond University and all staff, congratulations on your graduation. I now invite the Vice-Chancellor to read the citation for the award of the title of Emeritus Professor.
Good afternoon, everyone. Chancellor, Professor John Wade was appointed to the Faculty of Law in 1990, not long after Bond had opened its doors. He retired recently in December 2012. Professor Wade has had a distinguished academic career in law, having completed degrees at the University of Sydney and the University of British Columbia. He worked as an associate professor at the University of Sydney, the Faculty of Law at Osgoode Hall in Toronto, the University of Manitoba, the University of Calgary, and then was appointed as full professor here at Bond University. He was a consultant to the Australian Law Reform Commission from 1983 to 1987. He was acting Dean of Bond's Faculty of Law from 1991 to 1993 and Chairman of the Family Law Council of Australia from 2008 to 2010. He has also been a visiting professor at Pepperdine University, the Vermont Law School, Southern Methodist University, and the University of British Columbia. During his career, he has authored over 100 articles and books, taught more than 300 classes across the world, and was acknowledged as the best law teacher at the University of Sydney in 1989, the best law teacher at Bond in 1990, and the best law teacher in Australia in 1998. Professor Wade's professional experience, expertise and academic interests are in the areas of mediation, negotiation, family law and legal education. It will be evident from this summary that John has had an outstanding career. He has made a significant contribution in helping to create the unique student experience here at Bond in the Faculty of Law. He is remembered with much fondness and with much respect by many Bond Law alumni, and his contribution as a senior member of the faculty and indeed of the university has been very influential. Chancellor, in recognition of his exceptional service to Bond University and of his preeminent standing in the field, I present and award Professor Wade as a Professor Emeritus of Bond University.
What a wonderful career, and how honoured we are to have John being awarded this honour today. I am delighted now to introduce this afternoon's occasional speaker, Mr. Greg Vickery, AO. Mr. Vickery is a corporate and commercial lawyer based in Brisbane with Norton Rose. He is a former president of the Queensland Law Society and was, for 8 years, until 2007, the Honorary Consul for Indonesia in Queensland. Mr. Vickery is an experienced company director and currently serves on the board of Queensland Energy Resources Limited. He was formerly a director of Ergon Energy and the Australian Film Finance Corporation, and as a consequence of that, and no doubt from his legal background, has an incredible understanding of government-owned corporations. Mr. Vickery has a very distinguished career in so many other ways. He is a member of the Treasury Department's prestigious Corporations and Markets Advisory Committee, more commonly known as CAMAC, as well as being a member of the Queensland Regional Committee of ASIC. He is presently the National Chairman of the Australian Red Cross, and I'm sure he'll talk to you about that, and a member of the International Governing Body of the Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies. In 2001, he was made a member of the Order of Australia, AM, for his contribution to law and legal education and for his community commitment. In 2013, he was promoted to Officer of the Order of Australia, AO. He has been honoured for his work in the law, legal education and governance of humanitarian aid organisations by being awarded a Centenary Medal. Greg has a long association with Bond. He is a graduate, having been conferred with a graduate diploma in dispute resolution, in addition to being a member of the advisory committee of the Dispute Resolution Centre. He is also a past member and present member of the Law School Advisory Committee. In 2009, he was practitioner in residence. In welcoming Greg today, can we also welcome his wife, Sally? Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Greg Vickery.
Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, graduates, of course, and everyone else who's here, including the wonderful teaching staff of Bond. Good afternoon to all. At the outset, let me warmly congratulate each and every one of you on your academic achievements, and I'm talking particularly to those I can see right in front of me. We all take much pleasure in celebrating today. This is a very special day in your life and in the lives of your families and your significant others, more to the back of the room and the side, who supported you in attaining this very important career milestone. However, this graduation should not be an end in itself, but a means to an end. At this point in time, most of you will have that end, and in some cases even a specific game plan in mind to achieve it. While that is a good thing, none of us really knows where life will take us. What life has taught me is that I'm always heading towards ever-shifting goalposts. Therefore, my advice today is to keep challenging yourselves and at the same time be alert to opportunities and to relationships that empower you to make the most of your gifts and to your newly acquired expertise and knowledge. My personal mantra is that we can all do more if we really want to. Life is short and we all need to make the most of it. Therefore, it won't come as any great surprise to you today that I'm encouraging you all to be active and responsible members of your communities and to look beyond success in professional and family life for other opportunities where you can contribute to the betterment of our world. I've always done other things outside my family life and the law, and the one firm, now Norton Rose Fulbright, where I have now worked for 46 years. This began in my student days with politics and debating, before moving on to the National Trust of Queensland, the Queensland Law Society, undergraduate, postgraduate and continuing legal education, support for the performing arts, support for junior sport, particularly cricket and rhythmic gymnastics, fundraising for my secondary school and for my church, St John's Cathedral in Brisbane, active participation in the Australian-Indonesia Business Council, CAMAC as the Chancellor has mentioned, and as Honorary Consul for the Republic of Indonesia. The big constant, though, in my extracurricular activities has been the Red Cross and Red Crescent movement, which has stretched back for over 4 decades, leading up to the presidency of the Australian Red Cross for 8 years, being a member of the governing board of the International Federation of the Red Cross and Red Crescent Society for 6 years, and finally, for the last 2 years, the prestigious chairmanship of the Standing Commission of the Red Cross and Red Crescent movement. For those who aren't fully aware of it, the Red Cross and Red Crescent movement is one of the world's major humanitarian forces. Its mission is to use the power of humanity to help the most vulnerable people, wherever they may be in the world. It boasts over 100 million volunteers. These are unpaid folk like myself, an army of humanitarians. The Red Cross and Red Crescent movement comprises almost 200 separate legal entities. They're national entities. Within many countries there are separate legal entities as well. In American Red Cross there's 700 independent chapters. But these 200 entities include the International Committee of the Red Cross, everyone's heard of, the ICRC, founded by the businessman Henri Junot in Switzerland in 1863, and national societies in almost all countries of the world, including the Australian Red Cross, which is a $1 billion operation in itself. These national societies are auxiliaries to their respective governments in the humanitarian field, which means that governments should first turn to the National Red Cross or Red Crescent Society in times of humanitarian crises, which they have committed to in the Geneva Conventions, under which the national societies are formed. So the Red Cross is really no ordinary non-for-profit organisation. The challenge for the national societies in this unique position is to work closely with governments on humanitarian crises, while at the same time maintaining independence. Independence is one of the 7 fundamental principles of all Red Cross and Red Crescent national societies. The other 6 principles are neutrality, impartiality, voluntary service, universality, unity and humanity. And it's often quite difficult to fully observe these and still maintain relationships with government. In Australia, for instance, the Australian Red Cross works closely with in detention centres and asylum seekers, which means it won't be openly critical of government, whatever government policy might happen to be, because it needs access to the people. That's the critical thing in our mission, is to actually help people in these disadvantaged situations, and advocacy doesn't help us do that and may shut us out, and other organisations will do it. So it's an interesting role. Globally, the Red Cross and Red Crescent movement plays a leading, if not the leading role in man-made and natural disasters, It's also the guardian of the laws of war, which are enshrined in the Geneva Conventions. What, you may ask, could a company and resources lawyer from Brisbane do to add value to the International Red Cross and Red Crescent movement? Clearly, I can't do health work, I can't do water sanitation work, I'm not a good AIDS educator, but I am an international arbitrator and mediator, but I'm not an expert in international humanitarian law. The answer is twofold. Firstly, for over 40 years, I have worked as a community volunteer in fundraising and governance roles for the Red Cross, as well as other organisations. Over that time, I've had considerable experience in governance, which has enabled me, firstly, to refine my governance skills and knowledge. Secondly, in recent years, I've had the opportunity of using that skill and knowledge to modernise and improve the governance of Australian Red Cross, changing it from a state-based organisation with a loose federal structure to a unified national body with a single strategic plan, budget and set of programs. Now I'm fortunate to be in the most senior volunteer position in the world, which enables me to effectively work to improve the governance of the International Red Cross and Red Crescent movement. I must add at this stage that in order to effect change inside large organisations, you do need to have and use considerable patience, persistence and persuasion. I was greatly helped in the latter by studying dispute resolution here at Bond University, to which the Chancellor's referred in the 90s, and studying under Emeritus Professor Wade, amongst others. I learned to distinguish needs from wants, to better understand what was driving those opposing my proposed governance changes as I worked towards a consensus-driven or mutually acceptable outcome. Without my dispute resolution training, I could not have had the same success as a change agent, believe me. Now, there is no point in being involved in extracurricular activities just to be there or to add it to your CV, and we sometimes see that. You need to be able to look yourself in the eye and to say to yourself, I am making a difference and adding value to this organisation. This has to be the test you apply for any involvement you have outside your career and family. Speaking of families, they are critical as well. I could not do all I've done without the unfailing and unconditional support and love of my wife, Sally, who's here with me today, and also the support of our 3 adult children, who are also lawyers, I should say. They've always encouraged me and are understanding if I have to miss a few family celebrations because I'm away on International Red Cross duties. 4 final thoughts to share with you. Don't overcommit in any extra activities you pursue. Make sure you enjoy what you do. It's important, as in all aspects of life, to have fun and to not let things get you down. Be reliable in your extracurricular commitments. Just because it's a voluntary role does not mean a lessening of the diligence and attention you need to give. And try to keep yourself mentally and physically fit to ensure you have the energy and stamina to do a worthwhile contribution over a period of time. I do hope you can all find the time and energy to do some voluntary community service. You can begin by seeking opportunities online or in newspapers, if people still read newspapers, or by asking your local community leaders, your MPs, local doctors or councillors, where additional volunteer help might be useful and appreciated. So good luck with that. In conclusion, I wish you all well in your future careers. Can I leave you with the final thought by paraphrasing the late Sir Winston Churchill, a one-time hero of mine. My hope for all of you is that today is not the beginning of the end of your careers and life experiences, but rather the end of the beginning of a very full and worthwhile lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vickery, for a wonderful address, an address that is inspiring undoubtedly to our graduates, but is also such a reflection of the life of a truly extraordinary Australian, an Australian who has made a difference, an Australian who has challenged himself, who has given back to the community, who has exercised, he didn't use these words, but I used it, great diplomatic skills, who has learnt something out of his degree at Bond. Patience, persistence and persuasion. I'm sure that's something all of us could benefit from. And as well, the importance of being diligent as much in your not-for-profit activities as in your professional life is obviously key. Thank you for giving us that insight. Thank you for giving us that inspiration. And can you join me all in thanking again Mr. Greg Vickerick.
Will all the candidates for degrees please stand? Chancellor, I wish to present the following graduands who are in attendance today for admission to awards from Bond University. From the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, 96 graduands. From the Faculty of Law, 73 graduands. I certify to you and to the University that the graduands have satisfied the requirements for admission to the award for which they are being presented.
With the authority of Council, I hereby admit to your degrees the awards for which you have qualified. I also admit to their awards those candidates listed in the graduation program who are unable to be present today.
Will the graduates please be seated? Ladies and gentlemen, that is the official moment of graduation.
Chancellor, the following candidates are presented for the award of Research Doctorates. From the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, the degree of Doctor of Counselling, with the thesis title Biofeedback and Functional Assessment for the Treatment of General Anxiety Disorder, I present Philip Fourie. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy from the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, with the thesis title A Critique of Japan's Official Discourse on Human Security, I present Camille Abt. And with the thesis title, A Reappraisal of the Political Philosophy of Václav Havel, I present Daniel John Brennan. For the Doctor of Philosophy from the Faculty of Law, thesis title, Mainstreaming Therapeutic Jurisprudence and the Adversarial Paradigm, Incommensurability and the Possibility of a Shared Disciplinary Matrix, I present Nigel Stobbs.
I now invite the Dean of the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences to join me in congratulating each of his graduates as they are presented.
Chancellor, I present graduates from the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences for the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Huang Xiaohan. Tammy Maxine Joski. Grace Russell Macaulay. Danae Patricia McRae. Hannah Renee Mitchell. And William Stewart Schoch. For the Bachelor of Arts, English as an International Language, Xinglei Ng. For the Bachelor of Communication, Holly Asser. Nicole Remmer. And Nikki Eliza Taylor. For the Bachelor of Communication Business, Emily Berman. Edward Fleetwood. Catherine Pauline Haney. Jade Hayward. Geordie Penrose. Remy Gabriella Quinlivan. And Monique Amelia Sievers. For the Bachelor of Computer Games, Alexander James May. And Jeremy Orr. For the Bachelor of Counselling, Amelia Solomon. For the Bachelor of Film and Television, Lachlan Brown. Braden Joseph Robert Condon. James Matthew Doherty. Eric Edward Charles Gould. Jesper Karl Anders Klitmark. Jessica Lee Nichols. Emma Vincent. Isabella Vitelli. And Renee Louise Williams. For the Bachelor of International Relations, Oshaya Bagi. Issa Martin. Leandro Mendes. For the Bachelor of International Relations and Bachelor of Laws, Timothy John Calfs. For the Bachelor of International Relations Business, Milena Asic. Matthew Arnold Glyn Jones. And Daria Kamikaeva. For the Bachelor of Journalism, Jake Kaiser. For the Bachelor of Multimedia Design Advertising, Matthew Coleman. For the Bachelor of Multimedia Design Mass Communication, Paul Chiapara. For the Bachelor of Social Science Criminology, Adrian Gregory. For the Bachelor of Social Science Psychology, Stephen Dacre. Christy Della, I am sorry. Jamaica Isles. Rhys Warwick Kilpatrick. Tanya Krechek. Matilda Sayautu Leauza. Susan Lett. And Jessica Isabel Pintane. For the Bachelor of Social Science Psychology Honours with Second Class Honours Division B, Nerida Tinamu. For the Bachelor of Social Science Psychology Honours with Second Class Honours Division A, Shuktika Bose. Rebecca Kate Clawton. Sophie Louise Monteith. James Leonard Story. For the Graduate Certificate in Language and Bachelor of Arts, Christopher Knott. For the Graduate Certificate in Language and Bachelor of Film and Television, Mitchell James Carr. For the Postgraduate Diploma of Arts, Abdul Wahid Abbasi. For the Postgraduate Diploma of Counselling, Stuart Campbell Hazelton. For the Postgraduate Diploma of Psychology, Maureen Brunetti. Cheatham Demir. Deanne Tanvika Fernandez. Jessica Bianca Francis. Stephanie Gotsis. Emily Ann Havelry. Michelle Diane Key. Andrea Mollapur. Michelle Eliza Roddy. Alexandra Elizabeth Stammel. And Ben Yunan. For the Master of Arts coursework, Tricia Winkle. For the Master of Communication Business, Harish Satishchandra Sevi. For the Master of Criminology, Rachel Ann Reminis. For the Master of International Relations, Rhys Owen Binney. And Zoe Keevers. For the Master of Journalism, Andre Rodriguez da Silva. For the Master of Psychology Clinical, Rebecca Louise Maley.
I now invite the Dean of the Faculty of Law to join me in congratulating each of her graduates as they are presented.
Chancellor, I present graduates from the Faculty of Law. For the Bachelor of Jurisprudence, Andrew Splatt. For the Bachelor of Laws, Anis Suhaila Ahmad Lutfi. Nurul Akila Azman. Mikhail Boole. Karen Ann Cornell. Claire Dolesny. Blake Hatchman. J. Andrew Hatton. Julie Jessica Hidalgo. Simon Klaus Kieser. Tanya Amanda Kral. Joseph Kyungjae Lee. Nabila Khan Mahmood Khan. Nur Africa Muhammad Arif. My apologies. Carl Barnabas Malanjum. And then Aisha Mohammed Roslan. Charlotte O'Sullivan. Jeannie Allison Quinn. Meryl Ragas. Jacob Laser Reitman. Alexandra Katarina Schledich. Amal Hayati Zakaria. For the Bachelor of Laws and Bachelor of Business, Nathan Coombridge. And James Clarence John. For the Bachelor of Laws and Bachelor of Commerce, Stephen Keith Bignell. And James Chumbley. Thomas Nugent. And Nicholas Sitch. For the Bachelor of Laws and Bachelor of Communication, Stephanie Marie Lagerstedt. Bachelor of Laws and Bachelor of Communication Business, Andrew Dennis. Bachelor of Laws and Bachelor of International Relations, Laura van Stecklenburg. Bachelor of Laws and Bachelor of Film and Television, Isabella Mary K. Baldwin. Bachelor of Laws and Bachelor of Journalism, Jack Alexander Morfitt. Bachelor of Laws with Second Class Honours, Division B, Alexandra Gielan. Ellie Rebecca Lemity. Jacqueline Scanlon. And Megan Shine. Bachelor of Laws with Second Class Honours, Division B, and Bachelor of Business, Benjamin William Scarabalotti. Bachelor of Laws with Second Class Honours, Division B, and Bachelor of Journalism, Robert William Millard. Bachelor of Laws with Second Class Honours, Division A, Charlotte Kate Brierley. Bachelor of Laws with Second Class Honours, Division A, and Bachelor of International Relations, Andrew Dibden. India Duncan. And Lara Wilkinson. Bachelor of Laws with Second Class Honours, Division A, and Bachelor of International Relations Business, Rupert Alexander MacArthur Partridge. Bachelor of Laws with First Class Honours and Bachelor of International Relations, Amelia Joy Richardson. For the degree of Juris Doctor, Daniel Boyman. Rajinder Kaur Chauhan. Timothy Shear. Alim Jessa. Sunana Kaka. George Konstantinidis. Courtney Ann McLaughlin. Supriya Narayan. Raquel Ness. Jordan Virtue. Ryan Walia. And Jill Marie Wolfe. The Juris Doctor with Second Class Honours Division B, Jack Boyman. Amrita Dillon. Juris Doctor with Second Class Honours Division A, Vanessa Romanino. Arthur So. William Michael Thomas. The Juris Doctor with First Class Honours, Alexandra Dawn Chobataru. Lindsay Firestone. And Stephen James Holmes. For the Postgraduate Diploma of Legal Practice, Elizabeth Angela Feld. Michelle Cherie Kelly. Martin Rory Mallon. Eleanor Suraj Bali. And Thuyen Tan Tran. For the Master of Business Law, Manaf Haidar. And for the Master of Laws by Research, Kim Daniel Wynett. Chancellor, Margaret Goodman has been selected to give the valedictory address on behalf of those graduating this afternoon. Margaret is also graduating with the degree of Master of Arts, TESOL. Margaret Goodman.
Not so long ago, in a small community in the northeast of England, there was a ceremony for a man who was finally able to retire. He'd spent every day of his life, from the age of 12, going underground to mine coal. After 50 years of back-breaking work in dangerous conditions, aged just 62, he was in ill health and old before his time. In recognition of his loyal service, at that ceremony, he was presented with a certificate. Although he left school uneducated and was barely able to read, he could see that the certificate didn't even show his correct name. He was a proud man, and he didn't complain. But on that day, he vowed that his children and their children would have better opportunities in life than were ever available to him. He knew that the only way to achieve that progress was through education. Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, distinguished guests, faculty members, family, friends, and fellow graduates. 50 years on from that ceremony, that man's granddaughter stands before you today at one of the world's leading universities, giving this valedictory speech. Good afternoon. I'm honoured to be representing you all, a diverse group of talented individuals, and to be able to congratulate you on your graduation today. When I decided to return to university a mere 30 years after my last studies, I was as nervous as I was excited. Looking back, I can see that nothing could have prepared me for my bond experience. Not even the words from my children. Don't worry, Mum, there are sure to be some other old people there. I arrived with high expectations, but the experience has been far better than I could ever have hoped for. The take-home has been the entire experience of being part of the special bond community and spirit, not just the excellent education and teaching provided. There were challenges, of course there were. We all have our own challenges. Mine were mostly mastering modern educational methods, such as PowerPoint, Excel, APA referencing. Against that is the efficiency of Google and Summon, rather than having to physically trawl through encyclopedias, microfiche, journals to get that one piece of information you need, which was the case 30 years ago. But studying something I really enjoyed in an atmosphere which encouraged us to go beyond our limits made those challenges seem minor. My initial concerns of not being a typical Bondie were soon dispelled, because I soon realised there's no such thing as a typical Bondie. The unique thing about Bond is that students of many ages, backgrounds, nationalities and cultures are all welcome and encouraged to share their views and experiences. That's the richness of Bond. We may not have all wrapped ourselves in togas under the arches or partied at Don's on Thursday nights, but we've been privileged to have been taught by passionate, knowledgeable and dedicated teachers who set the scene for us to excel. We also all appreciate the value of our bond qualification and the opportunities it can lead to in the future. This afternoon, we're here to celebrate our hard work, dedication, and perseverance. There have been many times when we didn't think we would make it to this point, but with the support of teachers, family, and friends, we met the challenge. The certificates we receive today represent much more than just educational qualifications. They represent the opportunity for us to go forward, make choices, and face other challenges, and to build a better life for ourselves, our loved ones, and our communities. Because of my grandfather and the determination of other people like him, we're in the privileged position today to embrace the opportunities and challenges ahead with confidence. Each of us has been and will continue to be influenced by people to help mould us into the people we will become. My father had a love for learning and took pride in seeing his 4 daughters graduate. My husband, Steve, has never walked away from an opportunity or challenge in the 35 years I've known him. And of course, my children, whose expectations of me made it impossible to walk away from my studies when the going got tough. If we in turn can influence others to reach their potential, then we too have made a difference. Education is often seen as a means to an end, but we never really know what that end will be. The only thing we can guarantee about the future is that it won't be as we think it'll be. In 5, 10, and even 30 years, our aims and goals will be different to those we have today. The only constant is what we carry around with us, what we are. Education and life experiences are our assets, which will always be with us. And that's what Bond University has given us, the opportunity to learn, to grow, and try something new, no matter how old you are or how daunting the task may be. We all know it isn't easy to step outside our comfort zone and try something new. But to quote James Thomas Harris, regret for the things we did can be tempered by time. It's regret for the things we did not do that is inconsolable. 18 months ago, I sat at the back of this hall and watched my daughter graduate with her Bachelor of Laws. So I know how proud our families and friends are of us today. On behalf of the graduating cohort, we thank our loved ones for your love, support, and sacrifices, and for being the pillars of strength in our lives. We couldn't have done it without you. And finally, to my fellow graduates, was it worth it? Definitely. Cherish the memories and the friendships, and let's use it to make a difference. Thank you.
How inspiring is that story? How powerful. Almost gasping for words. The ability of education to make a difference in one's life has been writ large by Margaret this afternoon. The emotional story of her grandfather, which I think has moved every single one of us. But over and above that, her recognition that this experience that you have shared at Bond is extraordinary. As Margaret said, if I paraphrase, the unique thing about Bond is that you are all unique. In Margaret, we have someone who is, how do you say incredibly unique? It's not the right word. But what we have is an extraordinary citizen of our community who has made a difference here, who is recognised here today, who is cherished for what she is and for what she can give back, and who I have no doubt will make an enormous difference, as will all of you in the rest of your lives. Thank you, Margaret, for being you. And thank you all of our graduates for all you do for this university and for all you will do into the future. Can you join me in recognising Margaret's incredible speech and thank her for representing you here today? I now call upon the Vice-Chancellor and President to read the Bond University charge to the graduates.
Will the graduates please stand? I charge you as graduates of Bond University to demonstrate at all times the highest moral and ethical standards, to apply and to continue to extend your learning to the benefit of society, to strive through your actions to promote the universal worth of all people, to pursue the highest standards in all of your endeavours, so that in fulfilling your personal goals and human responsibilities, you add to the standing of your university, and to support and uphold your university and its alumni through engagement with the Bond Alumni Organisation and through your own personal commitment. Graduates, do you accept that charge? Graduates, do you accept that charge? You may now be seated. To the graduates, let me add my personal congratulations and those of all the staff here at Bond University on your achievements to date. You've all worked extremely hard. We have witnessed sometimes the tears, on a lot of occasions the joy, and we will miss you. But remember that the reputation of this university is not about our bricks and mortar. It's about our people. And you are now part of the Bond family. Wherever you go, whatever you do, your deeds, your actions, your behaviours will reflect upon this university. I ask you to remember that every day of your lives. You are now truly bonded with us.